What's up, outliers? Welcome back to another follow-on mobility video. Today we're going to focus on mountain biking. Now, a bunch of different disciplines when it comes to mountain biking, but this video, being a mobility video, doesn't really discriminate against the downhill to any of the enduro or anything like that. This is just going to help anyone that's going to hop on two wheels and help them get a little bit more mobile leading up to their competition or just going out and having fun. So mobility can be done at any point in the day. It can be done morning, afternoon, or evening. But if you want to use this as a pre-warm-up, remember there's still going to be another warm-up to our activity where we're going to actually elevate the body temperature. Meanwhile, this mobility is just going to help us feel a little bit better. First things first, we're just going to sit in a cross-legged position on the floor. If this position is not accessible for you, you can boost yourself up underneath your bottom with a blanket, pillow, or book, or whatever you have access to. We're going to place the hands on the knees, and this one is a coffee grinder. So all we're going to do is we're going to rotate forward. We're going to bring our chest down towards our knees, and we're going to pull our belly back towards the wall behind us. And we're just going to create this grinding motion with our spine and our hips, and we can get a little bit of a stretch while we're doing it. You can feel what's good, what's not so good. Roughly about 5 times one direction. Really feel it in that gut a little bit too, pulling through the abs and massaging those organs, which is a good thing. Come back the other direction, hit about 5 or so on the other side. Now, discipline within mountain biking can be very similar to motocross. Motocross can be very similar to mountain biking. But there's still a couple key components that are different: speed, impact, demand. When we're doing mountain biking, we're using a lot more of our, ourselves to, move rather than an engine to move. So that can ask a different demand on the body. So always gonna be a little bit different, but there is a lot of crossover. So if you want another mobility video, go check out the motocross mobility video. But for now, we're gonna focus on this one here. So next thing is a posterior hip capsule stretch. Now that sounds almost counterintuitive in the way that it's a hip capsule stretch. However, this stretch is really gonna access the posterior part of the hip where a lot of the muscles go off of that ball and socket joint. And we're not actually going to loosen up the joint itself, so don't worry. For this position, we're going to start in a quadruped, hands and knees. And we're gonna bring one leg forward. I'm gonna bring the left leg forward first. I'm gonna tuck this underneath, so I can have this in a slight collapsed position of a 90 degrees, which would look more like such. That turns into more of like a pigeon. We don't quite want a pigeon. So we're actually gonna pull that foot in towards the body. And then this is where the stretch comes in. We're gonna take our back leg and actually pop it around to the side. So it's back there, and we're actually going to twist and rotate and give that look to the back foot. And hopefully you're feeling that stretch on the outside there. And you can also, adjust, because everyone's different. Everyone's gonna feel different muscles stretching, everyone. This is not a one size fit all model that these bodies that we have are. So yeah, change things up a little bit to fit what you need. After about 30 seconds or so, we're gonna go back to our quadruped. We're gonna kick that other foot forward, and then this is where pop that around. And woo, this side's tight for me. But it's good, working on being better and feeling better is how we get better, right? So you gotta acknowledge your weaknesses to make them strengths. So if you're avoiding your weaknesses, they'll never ever become strengths. So don't be afraid to face these, head on, and work with your body and work on those things that you don't like doing, because you probably don't like doing them because you're not good at them or you're weak at them or whatever it is. But ultimately, that's what's gonna make you better at them. So don't avoid it, embrace it. All right. Next, we're gonna come back to our start position. But we're gonna go butterfly now. So we're gonna be upright with this. We're gonna bring our feet in and we're gonna place our hands either on our feet or our ankles, whatever is comfortable, but we do want these elbows to sit on our knees because we're gonna perform what is called a PNF. PNF stretching is ultimately just kind of a way to trick the muscles to bypass certain filaments so that the stickiness and tightness can relax a little bit, and we're gonna do that through contraction. So my hands are on my ankles or my feet, and the elbows are out on my knees because I'm going to activate my knees upwards into my elbows to create tension, and we're gonna hold 3, 2, 1, and relax. And hopefully when you relax, you feel everything kind of sink a little bit more. If you're a little bit more flexible, like myself, no worries. We can actually just bring our arms out. My feet will stay put, and I'm going to actually push down with my forearms, and then I'm going to activate upwards with the knees, try and squeeze in, squeeze, 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 and relax. We're gonna do that for one more round here in a second, and then we're gonna hold after that round. Finding out my right side just feels really tight today. Sometimes that's how it goes. I'm gonna squeeze in one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax one more time. This position's good to support yourself behind in the back as well if you're having a really hard time. You can always push yourself up to a wall or a couch or something to help you kind of push back on and then frees you up from having to pull your posture up on your own, and can make this slightly easier. It's still a pretty tough stretch no matter what. From here, we're going to do a pancake. So pancake is going to be kind of the opposite of what we're just doing. We're gonna kick our legs outwards into a wide-legged position, and then we're gonna fold forwards towards the floor. This is gonna look very different for everyone, of course, as far as like how far the legs go out, and then also how far forward you can come forward with that position. If you wanna put something in front of you to kind of help pull you down, feel free to do so. But we're also gonna stretch here in the middle a little bit. We're just gonna hang out, let your body fall naturally forward with gravity. And then we're going to pick a side. I'm gonna go to the right side first. We will get to the other side, so it doesn't matter which side you start with. We're gonna reach towards the feet on both sides. If you can't get to the feet, the shins are fine. We're trying to just get down nice and low. That's the goal, and hit that stretch. So when I'm facing forward, and be a little bit more like adductor gracilis. While I'm facing this direction, I'm gonna get a little more hamstring. So I'm gonna walk across to my other side. Now that's been about 30 seconds. Hold over here. I can even turn this into a little bit of a lat stretch if I wanna kind of banana bend my torso and come over, and I'll open up that side body. But depends on your flexibility, of course. It does feel nice. Great, now we're going to go to our back for the next 2, and we're actually going to be just lying on our backs. Pretty easy ones here. So we're gonna lie to our back, which is a supine position. First things is we're going to do some hamstring kicks. So this leg is gonna straighten out, this leg is gonna stay bent up, and we're gonna place the hands behind the knee, and then we're going to pull with the quadricep that hamstring as we do about 10 of these. Now the cool part about this is a really effective way to gain flexibility and mobility by using agonist antagonist muscle groups. So quads and hamstrings are opposite of one another. So we're going to use the quadriceps to pull the hamstrings and stretch them. So it's a really nice and effective way to just gain more flexibility, because ultimately these muscles are working together all the time. So the more that we can make them work together, the better. Switch it up, other leg goes out, keep that toe facing up. Hands behind the knee, and then we're gonna kick up again. This one can be a little bit tough because you really got to kind of work for that extension at the top compared to, you know, if you're just like strapping a band on or something. So really make sure you work for it, pull through that quad to get the hamstring up on these kicks. And then from here, we're gonna remain on our back. We don't gotta move anywhere, which is nice. Arms gonna go slightly out to the side. We're gonna do supine scorpion. So we're simply just gonna kick over to one side. Your back might pop, might not. If it does, you're welcome. I'm gonna come back in and we're just gonna kick up to the other side. So we're gonna do about 5 on each side here, 10 total. Take your time. There's no rush to any of this, okay? So whatever feels best for you. If you want to hang out in that stretch for a little while, feel free. We are going to do a movement similar to this that we get to hang out a little bit in here in a second. So don't worry too much that this is going to be the only time you're going to be in this position. Perfect. Next thing is we're going to remain on the back, but we're going to pull both knees up towards our torso, and then we're going to fall to one side. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what side you fall to, but I'm going to fall this way so that you can see me. Now, you can also support your head in this position. I'm going to go ahead and just keep my head on the floor. I'm totally fine with doing that, but if that's uncomfortable, feel free to put a pillow and or like a yoga block or something there. We'll start with our fingertips facing towards one another, and we're going to open up to the opposite side. And this is just going to be a static stretch. We're just going to hold right here. This is a really big chest stretch and also good thoracic rotation so that upper spine gets a nice stretch as well. And then actually from here, what we're going to do, we're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to swivel the hips over to the opposite side, create that fetal position, and then we're just going to avert our attention away to get that thoracic rotation in there. Really nice stretching. All right. So hopefully feeling a bit better than when you started. That's the goal. And do remember that though this mobility does help you feel better and everything, we still need to elevate that body temperature to go out and be, you know, a little bit more safe and ready for the more explosive activities that mountain biking can bring. So if you want the next video, which is going to be our warm-up video for mountain bikers, make sure you follow the next one and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.